Welcome to CEM Institute. Today we are going to tell a classic story named Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, Part 4. It is the last part. If you want to enjoy the previous parts of the story, you can visit our channel. Okay, listen carefully and stay focused. Robinson Crusoe, Part 4. I looked at my prisoner. He was a tall young man with strong arms and legs. He was about 26 years old, I thought. He had a good, kind face and intelligent eyes. His hair was long and black, but he had no hair on his face. He had a small nose and beautiful white teeth. He wore no clothes. I spoke to him again and he came nearer. When he stood in front of me, I smiled. He fell on the ground and put my foot on his head. He wanted to be my slave. I pulled him to his feet and smiled at him again. But now we had a difficult job. One of the cannibals wasn't dead. He sat up and looked at us. The prisoner, or my slave, spoke to me. I didn't understand his words, but the sound made me very happy. After 25 years, somebody spoke to me. My slave wanted my knife, so I gave it to him. He walked to the cannibal and cut off his head as quickly as possible. When the cannibal was dead, my slave laughed. He gave me the knife and the cannibal's head. Then he looked carefully at the other dead cannibal. He didn't understand about guns. How did the gun kill this man? I spoke to him, and he looked at me for a minute. Then he quickly put the two dead men under the ground. The other cannibals couldn't find them now. We walked to the big cave near my country house. My slave was very tired and hungry. I gave him bread, dry fruit, and water. Then I made a bed for him, and he slept for a short time. When he woke up, my slave came out of the cave to me. Again, he fell on the ground and put my foot on his head. I understood him and smiled at him. Then I began to speak to him. I said the names of many things in English. He said the words after me. Then I said, "Your new name is Friday, because today is Friday. We will remember this day with your name." I also taught him my name, Master. Then we drank some milk and ate corn cakes. Friday smiled and enjoyed this food and drink. On the next morning, we walked to my house. We went past the place of the dead cannibals. Friday wanted to eat them. But I was very angry and took him away from the dead men. We went to the top of the hill and looked at the beach. There were no boats near the beach. The cannibals weren't on my island now, but there were bones on the beach from their dinner. I saw many bones. I saw bones from people's heads, arms, hands, legs, and feet. So there were other prisoners in the boats. We made a fire and put the bones on it. Friday was a cannibal too. He wanted to eat this meat, but I stopped him. He wasn't a cannibal now. He learned this lesson quickly. He was afraid of my gun. Then we went to my house near the beach. I gave Friday some trousers from the ship and a coat and hat. They were his first clothes, and he liked them very much. He moved strangely in the clothes, but after some days, he was happy with them. On the next day, I thought about a bedroom for Friday. I made a tent for him inside my wall. Then I made a door to my cave at the back. I put my bed in the cave, and at night I slept there. I took my guns and knives into the cave with me, and I shut the door. But I had no problems with Friday. He was a kind and good friend. He loved me and he never hurt me in any way. I was very happy with him in my house. He was my child, and I taught him about many things. Friday was afraid of my guns. He talked to them, but he was very careful with them. He never stood near them. I asked him about his conversations with the guns. He said, "I say, please do not kill me." Friday learned everything very quickly. He helped me in many ways. He caught animals and fish. He worked in the garden and he cooked for me. He was always happy. Friday learned English quickly too. He understood the names for everything. He began to talk easily in my language. Our conversations were very exciting for me. Friday told me about his life, his family, and his island. I listened to his stories and I liked them. These were the best days for me on the island. One day, I asked Friday about his country. Does your country fight with other countries? Oh, yes, Friday said. We fight and we win. So why were you a prisoner on my beach? There were many of those people. Those people had good boats. My people do not have strong boats. Friday, what do your people do with their prisoners? We carry them away, we eat them. Where do you carry them? To this island? Yes, here and other islands. I asked how many. One time we ate 20 men, 2 women, and 1 child, he told me. Then I asked Friday more about his island. This conversation was important. How near is your home? I asked. It is near. We come here in small boats. And is it dangerous? Do you lose boats? No, my slave said. The journey is easy. I asked Friday many more questions about his home, about the people, the weather, the coasts and beaches. His island was in the Caribbean. There were men with white faces to the north. I could go there in a big boat. I wanted to go. When Friday's English was better, he asked me questions about my country. I told him about England and about other places in Europe. I told him about my family in York and about my sea journeys. A big ship with white men came to his island too, he said. Many men died in the sea, but 17 people now lived on his island. For how many years? I asked. 4 years, said Friday. Why don't you eat them? I asked. They are friends. We do not eat friends, said Friday. Years later, we were busy in the garden. I asked him, Friday, do you want to see your country one day? Oh, yes, he answered. What will you do there? I asked. I will tell my people about cornbread and dry fruit, about goat meat and books. I will tell them about you, master. You are kind. Friday, we can make a boat. You can go to your home, I told him. Why are you angry with me? Asked Friday. I said I wasn't. Why are you sending me away? Don't you want to be at home? I asked. Yes, but with Master. Friday loves Master. Master can teach my people many things. You will come with me in the boat. My plan was different from Friday's. I wanted to go to his island. I wanted to see the 17 white men there. But then I wanted to go to England with them. The idea of a bigger boat was exciting. We started our work that day, and we worked happily for months. The boat was ready soon. It was the 27th year of my time on the island. Now I had a new idea. Perhaps this was my last year in this land. But we didn't forget our other jobs. We worked in the garden and we looked after the animals. We made our food and discussed our journey. We waited for December. It was the best month for our journey to Friday's country. The rain stopped at the end of October. One morning, Friday went to the beach for some fish. After 10 minutes, he ran back to the house. He shouted, Master, Master. Oh, bad. Friday, speak slowly. What happened? Oh, Master. At the beach. 4, 5, 6 boats. Bad men. They eat men. Friday was very afraid. Friday, we can fight them. We have guns. Can you fight, Friday? Yes, Master. I can fight and I can die, said Friday. I gave 2 guns to Friday and I took 4 other guns. We also had knives with us. Then we went to the top of a hill. There were 20 cannibals, 3 prisoners, and 3 boats. The cannibals stood round a large fire. They cooked and ate meat from one prisoner. The next prisoner for the fire was a white man. He sat on the ground next to a tree. There were other trees near him. I ran quietly to those trees and I watched the cannibals. They ate their dinner and then they wanted more meat. I turned to Friday. Now, Friday, we have to help this man. I am ready, Master, he answered. Very quickly, we killed 4 cannibals with our guns. The other men round the fire jumped up and ran for their boats. They didn't understand the guns, so they were afraid of us. We shouted at them and ran at them with our guns. We killed 5 more cannibals in their boats. Then I ran to the prisoner. "What is your name?" I asked in Portuguese. "Cristianos," he answered in Spanish. But he was very weak and couldn't speak very much. I gave him some water and bread, then I gave him a gun and he stood up. We fought with Friday and killed more cannibals. 5 men left our island in a boat. The other 16 men were dead. Friday wanted to follow the cannibals and kill them all. We ran to a boat and I jumped into it. But inside the boat I found another prisoner. When this man saw me, he was afraid. I tried to help him, but he couldn't stand. He was very weak. Then Friday came to the boat. I told him to speak. Friday looked at the man's face and he smiled. Then he laughed and jumped up and down. He danced and sang and hit my back. "Speak to me, Friday. Who is this man?" I asked. "This is my father. I am the happiest son in the world." Friday cried. These exciting words stopped me and Cristianos. We forgot about the cannibals. Then their boat left the coast, and in minutes it was gone. Then, half an hour later, there was a bad storm. The wind and rain were very strong. Perhaps the cannibals died at sea that night. We took the bread and dry fruit from our bags and gave this food to Friday's father. Then Friday ran back to the house. He got water and cake for the older man. Friday put the Spaniard Cristianos in the boat next to his father. They both ate. The 2 men began to feel better. We took them down the coast in the boat and helped them to our house. Carefully, we put them in our beds and they slept for hours. Now there were 4 people on the island. Friday and I worked hard. We cooked for our new friends. They enjoyed the cornbread, goat meat, dry fruit and milk. They were strong again after some days. Now they began to talk to us with Friday's help. I didn't know many Spanish words, but Cristianos could speak Friday's language. Friday told me his words and his father's words in English. "Will the cannibals come back to our island?" I asked Friday's father. "No," he said. "They died in the storm, or they are at home. They will not come back here. They do not understand guns. They are afraid of you now, and they will tell their people about the fire. This fire is fast and strong. It kills everything." We forgot about the cannibals and thought about the future. Friday's father said, "You are a good man. You helped my son and me. My people will help you with a boat. Then you can go to England again." I also talked to Cristianos about my plan. He said there were 16 white men on Friday's island. Later, a ship arrived. Tom Smith answered, "Who's that?" "Captain? Is it you?" "Yes, Tom Smith. I am your captain. Throw down your guns. We are very strong." The men put down their guns immediately. Now we had 6 new prisoners. The next morning we went to the big cave and looked at our 14 prisoners. The captain spoke. "You will all die in England. You took the ship from me. You were wrong." The prisoners cried and asked for their lives. He talked to each prisoner. In the end, the captain took 9 good men back to his ship. He left 5 on the island. At midnight, the captain took his men and his 2 boats and went back to his ship. There they killed the bad leaders. Then they made a loud noise with the ship's big guns. The ship was theirs again. On the island, we heard the guns. We slept well. When I woke up the next morning, the captain stood next to my bed. "Master Crusoe, wake up," he said. "Look, your ship is ready. It is yours, and we are your slaves," said the captain very kindly. I looked out to sea. The ship was about half a mile from the beach. I couldn't speak for some minutes. I nearly fell to the ground in shock. Then I cried because I was very happy. The captain put his arms round me, and then I was quiet. I was going home. The captain gave me food and drink from the ship. We ate and talked about the journey. Then he gave me wonderful clothes: shoes, trousers, shirt, jacket, and a hat. Everything was new. Before we left, the captain and I talked to the 5 prisoners. They had to stay on the island. I told them about my house and garden, and about the animals. They had a new life. I told them about Christianus and Friday's father. I wrote a letter and left it for Christianus. I told him about the prisoners. I carried some things with me to the ship. I took my hat, my umbrella, and my parrot. I forgot to take the money. I left it under my bed. And so, with my man Friday, I left the island on the 19th of December in the year 1686. When I came to England again, it was the 11th of June, 1687. I put my foot on English land for the first time in years. I had no money, but the ship's captain didn't forget me. His bosses gave me £200 because I helped the captain. I went to the north of the country and visited York. Everything was very different. My father and mother were dead now. I found 2 sisters and the children of my older brother. They didn't have much money, and I wanted to help them. I made a new plan. My man Friday and I went to Lisbon in Portugal. We wanted to speak about my farm in Brazil. The money from my farm came to a bank in Lisbon each year. I had about £5,000 in the bank there. I stayed in Lisbon for 7 months. Then I sold the farm. I had £20,000. Now I was a rich man. I went to York again, and I helped my sisters and my brother's children. I sent the children to school for their education. After some years, I put the older boy on a farm. I sent the younger boy to sea with a good captain. And I found a wife. We lived in London, and we had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. I was very happy. But then my wife died. My brother's younger son talked to me about the sea again. In 1694, Friday and I went back. We went back to my island. There were a lot of men and women there now. We visited them and listened. The Spaniards and Friday's father came back to the island after we left. They lived and worked with the English prisoners. Then more men and some women came from Spanish America. Now there were 20 children on the island too. We were surprised. We stayed with them for 3 weeks and gave them many things from our ship. We also visited Brazil during our journey. I sent more people and animals to my island from there. Perhaps I will live on my island again in the future. But that will be a different story. Thanks for listening. If you think that it was helpful for you, you can take part in our community by subscribing to our channel and following our Facebook and Instagram pages. What kind of video do you want next? Please feel free to inform us in the comments.